channel, Lionheart Dreamweaving. My name is Matthew, and today I felt inspired to make this kind of video where I introduce myself to you guys and also explain why did I choose the name that I did for this channel. So I guess I'll start by introducing myself. Not so good at talking about myself, but I've been for quite a long time interested in mysticism, magic, healing, self-development, alternative medicine, all the different kind of subjects, and I've studied many different things over the years and built up quite a different diverse knowledge base and practice with many different kinds of techniques, and but also I'm a very kind of withdrawn hermit type of person naturally, so it's come to the point that spirit is like pushing me more to put myself out there and to share the benefit of all of the knowledge and skills and things that I've accumulated over time, and to connect with other people more and make a kind of reciprocal flow. And yeah, so that's what I'm here to help with. And if you'd like to know anything more specific about me, you're free to ask. This can be a two-way dialogue if you like. And so Lionheart Dreamweaving. So I'm gonna first talk about the dreamweaving part. And what I'm meaning by this is, like, you've probably heard the idea before that we create our own reality, right? That's a pretty popular and well-known kind of belief or whatever by this point, depending, we create our own reality like individually, but also say another nuance is that we're like co-creating with other people and other forces outside of ourselves as well. And so dreamweaving is for me a metaphor for this process. I think like it's a kind of descriptive term, a bit more specifically descriptive word for describing the creating your own reality manifestation process, because the way I see it, you are like just one thread. As an individual person, you are one thread in a greater tapestry, which is weaving, right? And then so if you're only focused on yourself as this one thread, like you're kind of losing the forest for the trees there. So when you unlock a different state of consciousness, an elevated state of consciousness, you can come into a type of resonance with the divine and with nature, where you are part of the whole more so. Like you can see the pad, like if you go back to the analogy of weaving a tapestry or something, and you're just one thread, your life and all the other lives you're co-creating with are also weaving. It's creating a bigger picture, so to speak, right? And when you have when you've elevated your consciousness to a point, you understand more and more clearly and in more intricate detail what's going on at any given point in this greater picture, which is like a moving picture. It's like a movie as well. It's evolving as well over time. So yeah, and then also, so like with that's the weaving part of it, and then so the dream. So I consider that this reality is many ways like a dream, and you can think of that on several levels. It can be a metaphor. You can think of it in a more literally, like, philosophical sense, and that but we don't need to go down that. That's a whole separate rabbit hole. But also you can think of it in the terms of like what you can either be. So the physics of this realm are of course different than when you're sleeping and dreaming. But in the same way, you can either be unconscious in the dream or become conscious and lucid in the dream. And if you are living your life unconsciously in the dream, you become just like a victim of the circumstances, and there's much larger forces and massive storylines and all these other things that you are pulled along with and pulled into, and you can become victimized by your own dream, even though it's like your consciousness creating it, right? You're telling yourself the story, but it can, if you lose sight of that part of you that's the one telling the story, and you just only get attached to the character, the one little thread, and then you're in for a bad time, probably more than likely than not. And that's how most people are living their life, like to no fault of their own, of course, but so many more people are also starting to wake up and to really understand intuitively and within themselves a bit more. Their consciousness is growing, and they're becoming more lucid of the nature of this reality, the way things are really working, really created here. And and then once you become more lucid, you get infinitely, exponentially more powerful and in the way that you are able to create your experience, in the same way that when you become lucid in your dream state, you can take a much more active approach in controlling what's going on in there. So, but there's a caveat to this, because you have to be like in alignment with this greater picture, right? So the greater picture is it's very benefic, it's very loving. Nature and the universe, universal forces, they fundamentally want the best for us. So like everything that happens along that thread, like it's shifting things in an overall more positive direction. But yeah, so it's a whole lifelong learning process, how to live in alignment with this. Yeah. So what I am offering here with this dream weaving thing, so a huge fundamental component, especially for us in this modern world, of how that we're creating our reality is through words. And I think that we've kind of forgotten, in a way, just how powerful, just how magical our words are, and the stories that we tell ourselves. People are starting to wake up to this a little bit more, and that's why you have people starting to learn more about, like, say, for example, like saying positive affirmations, and that kind of thing. And also on the other end of the spectrum, so many people are waking up now to understanding that the mass media, is a multi-billion-dollar business, which their whole business, and this is a very valuable thing because it actually really works, is telling lies, propaganda in service of a certain narrative, like omitting certain information, controlling information, spinning it to look a certain way and be taken a certain way so that the people reach certain conclusions. Yeah, and that's and many people are seeing how that whole process works in its gruesome detail. But so the thing about that, the reason why that works is like the stories that we tell ourselves. And you again take this on either a metaphorical or a literal level, but it's effectively the same. Like the stories that you are told and that you tell yourself are what is creating your reality, because that's going to put the limitations on what you're experiencing, right? So just for example, like if you tell yourself internally, of a voice telling you can't do something, like I cannot do this, you're not going to be able to do it if you really like believe that, if that's the story that's going on in your head. But it's just a story, and of course you can change that and then you can do the thing. But as long as you're attached to that story, you actually will not be able to do the thing that you believe that you cannot do. Or another example, like say you're at a really fun, something like the best party in the world, but in your mind you're having just a whole lot of negative thoughts, and you're saying like, oh, this sucks, I'm having a bad time, blah, blah, blah. Um, Even though it might actually be the most fun environment, if your mental space is really negative, no matter what is happening around you, you're going to experience it as having a bad time because of the story that you're telling yourself about the experience as you're having it, right? So that's just kind of like how that process works. And so the service that I'm kind of offering here, at least with the tarot card readings that I've been making, is that I can tune in psychically with a general storyline, and if this storyline resonates with your personal life experience, which not every single reading I ever make will resonate with everyone. It just can't be that way. But you can find specific videos that personally connect to you, just based on intuitively with the title or whatever draws you to it, whatever. And then so the storyline, I tap into that, and then I can offer like that higher dimensional bird's eye view perspective. Because if it's your life experience, you're gonna have blind spots. That's just very natural. Like we all do, right? Like I do in my own personal, because we're humans and we're designed that way. So it's like you're going on the ground through the labyrinth, navigating your life experience. You're going through the maze by yourself, and you can only navigate it from the first person perspective. But it's really, really helpful if you have guidance and advice like from a third person perspective, and someone can see like a little bit ahead of the thing. So that's the value that I offer, is a bit of like a third person perspective insight into the storylines, the timelines that you may be experiencing. So yeah. Um, and then the other part of the name, Lionheart. So yeah, that um, lions are often just like quite naturally across many cultures, even those that don't have lions naturally in their habitat, associated with courage and the heart. Um, so these are just like very ancient mythological archetypal associations. Um, I can only speculate as to the origin of that, but it just feels that way. I get that sense of meaning from it. So there's this sense of like courageousness of the word Lionheart, and that's the kind of frequency that I'm trying to both embody here personally, because this is quite a stretch for me to put my face on camera, my little camera shy. But yeah, so, and then also to admit and to share with you all, because it takes a great deal of courage in this life to face the challenges and the difficult, painful things we experience, and the traumas that and all of this. This healing path, it's not for the faint of heart, not for the weak. It takes like you have to summon quite a lot of inner strength, and so. But the good thing is your heart can heal, also. So if we've all been in many different ways brokenhearted, and but that allow they say that there's that thing that the cracks allow the light to shine through. So like we can that it gives us these opportunities for evolution, greater spiritual evolution, when we go through the depths of despair as well. And it always helps. It's always nice to have some understanding, support, and guidance, and trustworthy and compassionate. And so that's the kind of energy that I'm trying to hold and to offer, and to be of service with that, and for all of you. And yes, so thank you. If you are interested in this kind of content and you watched this video to this point, thank you so much for listening, and please subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video, all that. And thank you so much. Much love from my heart to yours.